Hey everybody, it's been a little bit since I've done a layout update. Over the last couple of months I've been gathering a bunch of little stuff and putting it on there, so let's go take a look. Alright, we'll start right here. We have a train going by, so perfect timing. So I added a couple of houses right here. The one right in front of us. Also this neat little outhouse. It's the restrooms for the station. And the second house over here. The one that's under construction. I've been wanting this house for years and years and finally found one. In fact, my brother picked up this house and this house and the outhouse and even this little pool from a coworker of his. So, pretty nice stuff. I always planned on putting some kind of a house or something right here, but I think down the road when this station actually gets moved to the place in the layout where it's supposed to go, which hasn't been built yet, I'm going to take this house and move it down. But we'll see what happens. For now, though, this looks pretty decent. I'm going to add a few more trees behind here to kind of separate the yard from the tracks. And speaking of trees, there are a lot of new trees on the layout, especially pine trees. Now, I couldn't tell you exactly what all trees are the new ones, but you have to take my word for it. There are a lot of new pine trees and even a couple of other trees on the layout. So I made up this scene to actually look like the lot was just tore up. You see, I got pieces of lumber and pipe laying around, and the dirt's all are all tore up there, no grass or anything growing, so looks pretty nice. And on this train that had just passed us, another thing that's recent, if you watch one of my last unboxing videos, that Wisconsin Central switcher is newer to the layout, along with these 6 Detroit and Mackinac hoppers. The coal loads in them I picked up at the Lansing train show. They're just foam. Cut them to length and put them in your hoppers. So I finally was able to use those. And they look pretty decent. Right here in Duran, the park that's adjacent to the station, prototype has a caboose in it, and for the longest time I had a Union Pacific caboose here, but I finally picked up the correct caboose, which is a red GT caboose, a Grand Trunk. Now, is it the exact caboose that's there? No, but it's very close, and it definitely completes the scene. A lot of new trees here in the neighborhood. These I can point out because prior to this, there was only like one tree, and it was that one. So recently I've added these, and those 2 pines in the back. So that's, the neighborhood is starting to look more fuller and alive. I don't know if I showed on a previous video yet or not, but I've been putting all these power poles all the way around the layout. Plus I got some street lights here. These are not wired up yet, but they are in place. And while we're right here, again, a couple unboxing videos ago, I showed off this pink well car and the 2 containers that come with it. These are not the containers. I actually put them over there. But anyway, that's from Rapido. Really nice that it comes with the containers. And these two high cube boxcars right here, they're also new to the layout. And two more freight cars that I added to the layout. One was this Detroit and Mackinac boxcar, and the other one is this Lake State boxcar. Another neat little item for my brother's co-worker is this clothesline and the figure next to it. This is actually one of two clotheslines I picked up. Also an additional cow, because I figured, why not? Well, let's just keep walking down. Again, there's new trees in here, but I couldn't possibly point them out to you. Added a bunch of figures to the beach scene. Like the family that's out here jumping in the water with the young boy. All the beach goers that are in their loungers. Those are all new. There's a guy laying out on a towel. Added a little more depth to the scene here at taco stand. Got a little umbrella, trash can, and a guy getting some lunch. A few new figures in the campground. Another tent and a person starting a fire. A picnic table here. Moving into Alpena, there's the second clothesline. This is the umbrella style. There's a person there with the laundry basket. Right here, I got a few children on bikes hanging out in the driveway. And I added a couple more pieces to this playground, specifically the sandbox and the slide. Picked up a couple of the Woodland Scenics American flags, and I hung them on the back of two of my three freighters, only because the hobby shop only had two. So at one point I'll have to buy a third one for the back of the third freighter. I was going to do one of my freighters as a Canadian vessel, but as it turned out, all three of them ended up being American prototypes. So maybe someday I'll make yet another one. And I think the last thing to show is this little fishing shanty from the Walther Seamaster. It's a little laser kit made out of wood. It goes together really nice. Everything is pre-colored. I like it. I like the way it turned out. It looks just perfect there. Alright, let's pan over the whole layout. See the trains right here. Again, perfect timing. That's it for now. Not very much, but hope you enjoyed it anyway. So now that summer's coming, of course, A little less time would be spent on the railroad, but I'll still try to make a few videos for you. In fact, some N-scale stuff might be coming up. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, take care.